sinister bananas, slippery babies, potential male frontal nudity. It's only the bloody kids in the hall, and they're back. It's May 13th, and the new season of Kids in the Hall has been uploaded to Amazon Prime. In Canada, we actually got it last night. They kind of snuck it in there late at night on the 12th. I watched all 8 episodes in 24 hours. And I've got feelings, I've got joy, and I'm here to tell you my review of this new season of Kids in the Hall. My name is Garrett. I've been working in the entertainment sector here in Toronto as well as Vancouver for the past 15 years. I've studied film and I've studied comedy. I'm a graduate of the training center at Second City, which a number of the Kids in the Hall do have connections with. I've worked at the Second City. I was a senior manager within the training center, and I've also worked in film organizations like the Toronto International Film Festival. So if that type of approach to movie and TV reviews is something that you would like, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. So Kids in the Hall, if you don't know, is one of many Canadian gifts to American audiences and worldwide audiences. The Kids began in the 80s as a live sketch group. Then in the mid-90s, they were able to have an incredible run of cult classic comedy, sketch comedy, and it was co-produced with the CBC here in Canada as well as HBO and Comedy Central. They did a movie where it was kind of everything was kind of falling apart in the band, so to speak, and then they've kind of reunited over the years with some stage shows. There was a tour in 2008 as well as 2015. And then there was also a mini series called Death Comes to Town, which is also on Amazon Prime. And that was in 2010. I think that was about 6 or 8 episodes as well. So, but Kids in the Hall, as sketches of them doing multiple characters, it's been a while since we've seen them on the small screen. It's been close to 30 years. And if you are someone of my age, or maybe a little bit older, if you are a Gen Xer or an elder millennial like me, you might be incredibly excited to see what this next chapter of the Kids in the Hall are. I will let you know that the format and structure of this new season of Kids in the Hall is very similar. The opening credits, the theme song, it's the same from the original. There's video transition scenes. They've just been updated to a modern Toronto landscape. And it's still produced by Lorne Michaels as well, of SNL fame and so many other things. So rest assured, it feels very much like the old Kids in the Hall, but it has been updated. They've gone through life, and so their approach and their views and their premises and their POVs of comedy have changed, or at least evolved. I think evolution is probably the best description of this new season. So as I said, I have connections with the Second City. I have a few personal connections, not huge ones, but it was great to meet Bruce a few years ago. He was doing a writer's room at the Second City, and they were renting out a number of the classrooms, so it was kind of cool to get to meet Bruce over a few weeks and just have him part of my daily life, which was pretty cool. And also in my current role in the film industry, I work a lot in film permits, and so I actually worked on a number of the location permits for this show, for this season. It actually filmed under an alias, as they really wanted to kind of keep as much of it under wraps as possible. So it is really cool to see what was done out in the streets of Toronto and in parks. A lot of the show, I think, is done in studio, but it was really cool to see like a scene I forget which episode. I think it's episode 3 or 4. There's a lazy boy scene. I remember working on that and getting road closures for that scene description. I'm trying to make this as not spoiler as much as possible. I want you to just experience the show. It is great that Amazon have actually put the title of each sketch in each episode descriptions. So if you want to go back and revisit certain sketches, I definitely encourage you to do so. There's actually a few sketches where I want to go revisit, because there were a few sketches where I was struggling with what the premise and what their POV was, and it just kind of went above my head, I think, or I was just too tired when I was watching it. But there are a few sketches where I definitely want to go back and revisit, just to experience it as much as I think I should. And weirdly, a number of the sketches, there's probably about 2 or 3 sketches. There's 8 episodes in total, and there's probably 6 to 10 sketches per episode. And there's probably 2 or 3 episodes that are actually just done in black and white. And for whatever reason, those sketches went over my head. So I'm guessing it is probably the same writer. Maybe it's one of the kids whose premise work and POV is in those sketches. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same one. It's a very Twilight Zone feel to it, but they kind of went over my head. But I still laughed, and I just want to go back and revisit those. However, that being said, there are 99% of the sketches that I loved, and even the ones I didn't. Even that 1%, I didn't hate them. I just didn't get them, and I'm just maybe just dumb. Because Kids in the Hall is intellectual comedy. It is stupid and silly and fucking dumb and dark and edgy and punk rock, and it's a middle finger to the man, and but at the same time, it's very well done. And the directing and the cinematographers on this season have done an incredible job. There's 2 directors and there's 1 cinematographer, and they have done an incredible job. The production management managers have done a great job with set deck and also just working in your houses and whatever set you've done and you've created. Special shout out to whoever worked on the bunker set. There's a sketch where Dave Foley plays a radio DJ, and it's like a dystopian society, and he's all alone. And I think in the past 2 years, we've all kind of gone a little crazy thinking we're all alone. So I really connected to that, because I remember the first 6 months of the pandemic, I was in my tiny little apartment in East Toronto in Leslieville, and I was going nuts. So I felt seen in that scene, and the song I actually heard in the car probably about 2 weeks ago when I was driving, and I thought it was the craziest song. I hadn't heard that song in forever, and I was just laughing 2 weeks ago about that song, and the song that is played is the same song, and I just love that they thought it was funny and I thought it was funny. Okay, so the Doomsday sketch is incredible. There's a 60 on the pole sketch. It's ridiculous. There's a Shakespeare's Bus sketch, which I think is a nod to Mark McKinney and his run on a Shakespearean comedy called Slings and Arrows. And if you've never watched it, I definitely recommend watching that. So there's a banana sketch. So weird. Love it. I want to watch it over and over and over again. I want it to live rent-free in my head for weeks and weeks. A medical sketch called Drop Average. It walks up to the line, and you're wondering if it's going to go over the line, if it's going to sit there. I'll let you watch to see if they go as far as you think they're going to go. There's a few other sketches that are just Whew. And what I've always loved about Kids in the Hall is that they don't just do shock value comedy. There is a lot of thought behind their sketches. Even when they're playing female characters, they're not making fun of women. They're just adding female characters to their world, and they play them very, very straight and honest and silly and funny, and they've always done a great job, in my opinion. There's an imaginary girlfriend sketch, which I thought was really funny and really dark and sad, and I just loved it. Maybe just because I'm single right now, I just felt seen again of how silly and dark, and I don't know if there was a writer on staff who's single and pushed that one forward, but great job. And then we also get some characters from the original season or the original series as well. So each episode, so there's 8 episodes, and I would say at least one sketch per episode has a returning character from the original series. So there is room for a second, a third, hopefully as many seasons as possible for them to bring back other characters that they did not bring back, that are fan favorites, that everyone loves. But there are some mainstays. Buddy Cole is back, the Head Crusher guy is back. Kevin does a scene where he plays himself, which is a very Kids in the Hall thing. I believe that sketch is called the Antique sketch. It's very funny. The show is very self-aware, and it's very self-aware that they're in a TV show. There are a few sketches where they do break the fourth wall. And then one of the characters you see in a few episodes that they kind of do a runner with is Mark playing Don and Dave playing Marv. And these are characters from the Brain Candy movie that they did a number of years ago. And so it's cool that they actually brought those characters back into the universe. And there are some callbacks as well. That, if you watch episode 2, there might be a callback of a joke or a blow line in episode 7 or something like that. So, yeah, so I highly recommend watching it. I was not expecting it to get released last night, but they were there, and all of a sudden I was like, all right, well, this is what I'm doing on my Thursday night. So I watched 5 episodes last night, and I watched 3 today. I really wish Amazon actually released them in once per week, or 2 or 3 at a time, and just kind of build that nostalgia, and so I could kind of sink in my experience, because I've been waiting for this. I know a number of you have been waiting for this. If you are new to Kids in the Hall, if you've never heard of them, that's okay. They're a very niche sort of punk rock comedy troupe, and they sort of came to light in the mid 90s when if you are like a millennial or Gen Xer and you are discovering 90s music like on TikTok or whatnot, if you are discovering bands like Rage Against the Machine, early Green Day, Weezer, Gin Blossoms, REM, those types of bands, Smashing Pumpkins, there was this angsty grunge music movement, and this sketch troupe was running parallel or perpendicular with this sort of movement and this type of art that was going out there. It's not for the sensitive types, but if you are in your teens, I think you'll love this. I discovered Kids in the Hall when I was in grade 8. grade 7, grade 8, I think. And I knew at that time it was like naughty. Like my older cousins were watching it and they were like, hey, you should probably watch this. And I couldn't look away because I knew it was in a beautiful, dark way influencing my sense of humor to go into adulthood and to survive high school and to survive university, to make people laugh. Hopefully to make girls laugh. This season is, it has topical targets, alarming edginess, and it has unsettling settings as well. If you are a fan of dark comedies that are out right now, something like a Severance, which is more of a psychological thriller, but it's a dark comedy, is sort of on one side, and that's kind of going into the Smashing Pumpkins, Marilyn Manson angst. Somewhere sort of in the middle is probably like a What We Do in the Shadows, which is also shot in Toronto. And then on the lighter side, if you've been discovering like Key and Peele, and you're watching like SNL as well, it's right in here. Again, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to be talking movies and TV reviews, sort of the business side, my experience of the past 15 years working in theater as well as film. And thanks for watching. And, I invite you to comment down below. Let me know what, some of your favorite sketches from this season is. Yeah, thanks for watching.